I wonder if there's TOS in this.
On the evening of February 24th, 1986, 29-year-old nurse Sherry Rasmussen was found by her husband lying dead on the living room floor. Her face was severely beaten and disfigured to the point that she was unrecognizable, and the injuries were consistent with being hit with the muzzle and butt plate of a gun. She also had 3 gunshot wounds to the chest that were disclosed as the official cause of death, with the medical examiner asserting that any one of the 3 bullets could have killed her. Perhaps the most disturbing discovery during the autopsy was that most of Sherry's injuries were inflicted upon her after she was killed, which was concluded due to the lack of hemorrhaging and inflammation of the injuries. This included most of the victim's facial injuries and even a bite mark on her left forearm. Even after Sherry had taken her last breath, the assailant was still inflicting an inconceivable amount of damage to her body. She was buried in a closed casket 7 days later. The homicide detectives assigned to the case immediately associated Sherry's murder with multiple break-ins that had occurred that same night on the same street. Another woman had even been assaulted and was able to give a description of 2 assailants, and this description became the sole focus of the investigation into Sherry's murder. The prime suspects were now 2 middle-aged Latino males of medium height and build. They were never found, and the case went unsolved for 23 years. By 2009, crime in Los Angeles had declined enough.
Oh, this is the Golden Gate murderer or something, right? Isn't this? Or no, is it not? Oh, no. The Golden State murderer. No, this is not. Sorry. Sherry Rasmussen was okay. Sorry, I don't know
earlier
this one
levels,
at all.
The detectives began looking into cold cases to increase their clearance rates, which is when the Rasmussen files resurfaced. It stood out from the rest as new methods of genetic analysis discovered that the DNA found at the crime scene pointed to a single female suspect. The 2 previous male suspects were then invalidated, along with the original theory of a burglary gone wrong. The investigation into Sherry Rasmussen's murder was then reopened, and the newly appointed criminal investigators started from scratch. It was soon discovered that a statement given by Sherry's father, of whom he thought to be the prime suspect, was quickly brushed to one side, as the person in question was a serving LAPD cop from the exact department who were investigating the case. The person in question was a woman by the name of Stephanie Lazarus. She was a 25-year-old police officer at the time who had been with the force for 2 years. She had dated Sherry's husband, John Rutten, in an on and off relationship throughout college and for a short time after. It was even discovered that John had slept with Lazarus after he became engaged, and the 2 even dated for a while after Sherry's murder. She was now a 25-year veteran of the police force and had worked her way up to a senior detective of the Commercial Crimes Division. She was essentially in charge of all art-related investigations in the city of Los Angeles. The investigators...
Bro, I'm sorry, I'm an eyeist, but like I see that, I'm like, that's the murderer, dude. Okay. Like that's the these are the craziest eyes I've ever seen, dude. I'd just be like, that's it. That's the guy. Take him away. There is no reason to be. There is no reason to conduct further any sort of investigation. No ad. I already ran the ad before.
Went with a gut feeling and decided to make Lazarus the prime suspect, with the collection of her DNA being the very first task. Attaining it through a warrant would have let Lazarus know she was under investigation, so it had to be discreetly collected instead. Within 24 hours of becoming the prime suspect, a coffee cup she discarded while off duty was received by police. A DNA sample was then taken, and it came up as an exact match to the DNA found on Sherry Rasmussen's bite mark. There's a stigma around police interrogation tactics being secretive, and how knowing this information can somehow help the guilty in deceiving their way to freedom. Yet these tactics have been public knowledge since their inception in the 1940s, and the following interrogation is a legitimate testimony into how watching an interrogation is a world apart from being subjected to one. You can know every technique in the book and each specific strategy and subtle scenario that goes along with it, but ultimately, you have no idea how you're going to react to a specific situation until you're actually in it. With that being said, knowing these tactics can still give an individual some form of advantage with regards to awareness. The investigators knew that their initial confrontation with Lazarus could in no way resemble a traditional interrogation, nor be officially classified as one, and there were 2 reasons for this. The first was that
I can't believe how much your channel influences YouTube views and subscribers for channels you watch. What the fuck? No shot. No, I started watching No, dude, they were getting like, they were already popping off. No, everyone's been watching this, and also it's not just me. I started watching it, and then Miski started watching it too. Like, so many other people started watching it.
Stephanie would be wise to the fact that her best option would be to request legal counsel right away and end the procedure immediately. The second was that Stephanie was not about to be read her Miranda rights before being asked questions related to the investigation. A defense team could easily make anything she divulges inadmissible in court. Yet this was classed as a simple discussion between two parties, and the footage that was captured on a hidden camera was able to be submitted as evidence under surveillance footage rather than interrogation footage. The detectives created a ruse, inviting Stephanie to come in and advise them on a case involving stolen art. Knowing they were dealing with one of their own, they rehearsed and prepared for the interview more than anything they had done before. Their plan of attack was to keep the conversation.
Wait, what did he say? Yo, it's me, Austin. Yo, it's me, Austin. I have more viewers than you right now. Hasan, hello from the top of Just Chatting. Says the dude who runs 10 minutes of ads every 5 seconds. Bro, you're stealing my content. I don't do politics. Get out of my lane. What the fuck?
Conversation as casual as possible for as long as possible, and carefully waited for the key moments to initiate the confrontation.
Stephanie, I don't know if you know my partner.
Hey,
great.
Hi.
Stearns, nice to
Yeah,
meet
see
you.
you guys.
How's it going?
Good.
Milling around. Well, have a seat. I don't want to talk about this in the squadron
Oh,
because
that's okay.
I don't know who people are listening.
That's true.
And if we go to my side, everybody's
Yeah.
always wondering what everybody else
yeah,
is
sure,
doing.
no problem.
Okay.
The first thing the detectives do is set up a compatible tone with the suspect. She has just stepped foot inside an interrogation room, and the detectives negate the negative implications of such an environment through a friendly disposition. Consultative meetings, such as seeking advice over an art theft, can take place anywhere, and the last place detectives would choose to spend more time in would be an interrogation room. The reason they give the suspect for meeting in such an unusual location is to not spread rumors or innuendo. Yet the real reason is that all firearms have to be checked in before entering the area, and they needed the suspect to give up her gun without alerting suspicion.
But like we're talking about being busy and stuff, we've been assigned a case that we've been looking at.
Okay.
It's a new case, and reviewing the case, there's some notes to see as far as your name being mentioned.
Okay.
Do you know John Rutan?
Try and imagine for one moment that you savagely murdered a love rival in a jealous rage. Over 2 decades had passed since the act. Then all of a sudden, you're brought to an interrogation room.
Very strange, very suspicious that like cop murderers, like cops who are murderers, like not on the job, but cops who are murderers off the job, never, you know, it takes a while for them to get caught. So interesting. I don't know what it is. I don't, kind of odd, right? I mean, maybe she just forgot to put the badge on that day, I guess, so...
And sat directly opposite 2 senior investigators
What
who bring
is-
up the name
what
of the
is it
man you committed
about that?
first-degree homicide for.
John Rutten?
Rutan.
The investigators already knew how to say John Rutten's name correctly. The mispronunciation was a simple strategy to see how the suspect would react. Setting aside the element of the murder, John Rutten was the second longest relationship in Stephanie's life, and a psychiatrist later stated that this pause was 4 times as long as it should have been. She was already being deceptive by acting as if she hadn't thought about that name for so long, giving reason for her prolonged reflection, when in reality, the name John Rutten was engraved in her memory, and even when slightly mispronounced, it would have most likely taken milliseconds for her to realize exactly who the detectives were referring to.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I went to school with him.
You did?
Yeah.
How long did you know him?
Gosh, I went to school in, let's see, went to UCLA in 1978 I started, and, you know, met him at school at the dorms.
Mm-hmm.
She says she met him in the dorms, yet left out the fact that they had dated for 4
They fucked.
years and went on numerous holidays together. Even though she wasn't asked directly, a truthful subject would most often volunteer this information without having to be pressed for it.
Were you guys friends, close friends?
Yeah, we're very close friends.
Yeah?
I mean, what's this all about?
Well, it's regarding, it's a case we're working on, and it involves John, and in there, some of the statements we reviewed, you know, there's notes and stuff that he knew you and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we were good friends, lived in the dorms I lived in the dorms for 2 years.
You guys lived in the same dorm?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Yeah, Dykstra.
Okay. Were you guys just friends or anything else, or?
Yeah, we were good friends.
Yeah. Was there ever any relationship or?
Bro, she keeps fucking slapping the table, dude. Okay, it's a wrap. See, this is called slapping the table method. Okay, when you do that, you got.
Anything that developed between you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we dated. You know, I mean,
Miskiff, take notes. These are good jokes that you can fucking add to your commentary to spice it up when you watch the same video later.
what's this all about?
Well, it's relating to his wife.
It's unfortunate that Stephanie's face wasn't captured at this moment, because she would have no doubt been immediately struck by the psychological reaction known as fight or flight. Her brain would have just triggered the influx of a specific cocktail of hormones in order to prepare her to either stay and deal with the threat or try and run away to safety. Stephanie chooses to fight.
Okay.
Okay. Did you know her?
Not really. I mean, I knew that he got married years ago.
Did you ever meet her?
God, I don't know.
Do you know who she was or anything?
Yeah, met her when I fucking murdered her. Sorry.
Well, let me think.
I apologize.
It was a long time ago. I may have met her. Jeez.
The words gosh, God, gee are exclamatory remarks used to express surprise or strong emotion. You will see them used continuously.
This is a OP white person technique, okay? This is incredibly powerful. If you are born into because you know we all get randomized spawn points, but if your spawn point is like white, this is a very valuable tool that you can use to always penetrate people's defenses. Like when you say gosh, you're like automatically people assume like, oh, there's no shot this is a murderer. Gosh, golly, gee, darn it. Exactly. So good.
Throughout this interrogation, which is the suspect trying to insinuate a vague memory due to a lack of contemplation on the subject matter. She's trying to emit the impression that she would have had no reason to give any further thought to John, or anything related to John, since they stopped seeing each other over 2 decades ago.
You know.
Yeah. Well, let me see. Let me ask you. You said you dated John. How long did you guys date?
I mean, are you guys, is this something?
As we know, Stephanie is a cop and has been for 25 years. She will be wise to the fact that acting oblivious to the unusual development of the situation will be a glaring red flag in the eyes of the investigators. It's been shown time and again on this channel. Guilty suspects will often try and act naive to a blatant confrontation as a means to avoiding it altogether, whereas truthful subjects will address the confrontation and either refute it, or if it's subtle, want immediate clarification and transparency as to what was being insinuated.
I mean, you said I was going to interview somebody about art and how you guys are.
Here's
I mean,
Stephanie, here's the situation. It's basically, we knew that this when we saw this in this chrono that maybe there was some relationship there. That's what the chrono seemed to indicate.
The detective now subtly avoids the question altogether, but instead offers a deceptively reassuring response to the suspect. He makes a very sharp switch from the investigative subject matter to the previous topic of workplace rumors. He brings her focus back to the false perception of them being on her side. Stephanie had just asked what was going on, and now he essentially replies with, "We are your friends. We're doing you a favor."
And we didn't want to come up to you at your desk and ask those kinds of questions or do.
Bro, when you can see the white of her eyes like that, dude, it's over. Just slap the handcuffs. This is a 10-minute video, dude.
Anything. You know how up there people can see what's going on if you go into an interview room or people are in there getting
that's
supplies.
Okay. I mean,
so we wanted to.
It's like, I didn't do the murder. Golly gee. How could I have done the murder?
Afford you some privacy, some confidentiality to talk about this, because we thought it might be, something, you're married to someone else, obviously, and so forth, and that you may not want to, talk about these things in that setting where someone, we don't want the rumor mill or gossip or any of that kind of stuff.
God damn, this is actually pretty good.
So we did this just as a means to try and speak to you in just a confidential place where where your business isn't out there for other people in your division to know about.
Whether it be shock or the total reluctance to accept the situation at hand, Stephanie warily accepts the reassuring response without further inquiry into her initial challenge. She instead falls back into her agenda of having a foggy memory with regard to the incriminating contents.
God, that's been 1,000,000 years ago. I mean, what year is it now? 2009. I mean, I graduated in 82. 82, yeah. You know, we dated. I dated other guys. I'm sure he dated other girls.
Well, let me ask you, roughly how long would you say you guys dated?
Oh, jeez. I couldn't even say. I mean...
Notice how she now goes on to over-explain things that don't require an explanation, and weren't even inquired about. It's a clear-cut indication of hyperarousal and a derivative of TMT, also known as terror management theory. The suspect will go off on unrelated tangents as means for gaining momentary relief. Going into detail about trivial things affords her a brief escape from the terrifying reality eventuating before her. This is a very common occurrence in interrogations where the suspect is facing serious charges, and psychiatrists believe it to be a subconscious coping mechanism.
I started school there in 78. I started UCLA in 1978. I graduated in 82. I don't even remember what year he graduated, if it was a year or two before me.
Okay.
I think he was a little bit older than I was. I mean, you know, I can't remember if he was born, let's say I'm born in 1960. I don't know if he was born in 58 or 59. I mean, I knew his parents, I knew his sister. His brother went to Northridge. You know, his sister spent the night at my house before. Obviously, I spent the night at his house before. He probably spent the night at my house before. You know, I don't...
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, because from what you're telling me, you guys dated while you were in college together, right?
Yeah, and probably after college. I can't...
Bro, she is leaking, dude. She is a leaky faucet right now. These detectives are pretty fucking good. Like, she went from no, I don't know him, to like, yeah, we fucking dated. I know his entire family. Like, I'm the biggest fan of him. I know him and his family real well, dude. Real well.
Jeez,
they didn't do anything? That's not true. They fucking lured her in with they literally lured her in, dude. It was actually good.
I think when I met my husband in...
What state is this in? Take one guess. It's not Florida, and it's not Arizona, okay? There you go. That's all you need to know. These are California cops.
Scott,
California detectives.
Let's see. I was teaching DARE, because I met Scott when I was teaching DARE up in Oregon, but... We had long stopped, you know, dating before that.
So you haven't talked to him for a long time?
Oh, I think I haven't talked to him in a long time. I couldn't even tell you when the last time I talked to him. I met Scott, I'm thinking in 92 maybe, April of 92. It was
Scott being your husband.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I was teaching DARE. Let's see, what year is this? We'll be married. I got married in 1996. I think I met Scott in 92. Prior to that, I couldn't tell you how long I had talked to John prior to that.
But since you met your husband, Scott, you haven't talked to him?
I mean, he may have called me once or twice before we got married.
Right.
You know, geez, I moved to Simi in 1994 because I lost my house in the earthquake.
Oh, really?
Quite honestly, I probably keep in contact with a few people from the dorms. We all lived on the 10th floor.
Oh, jeez, shucks.
And there's about 3 or 4 people I keep in contact with. There's probably like 6 or 8 of us that were all really close.
And who are those people?
Oh, geez, Diana Basta. People I still keep. I haven't been in contact with her in a long time. I mean, what's this all about? I mean.
Well, let me ask you.
The suspect challenges the detectives for the second time, and once again the question is avoided, but this time in a more confrontational manner, as the topic is maintained with no reassurance afforded. The detectives are ramping up the pressure in a very subtle yet highly effective manner.
What ended the relationship between you and John?
You know, it was kind of a weird relationship. I mean, we dated. I can't say that he was my boyfriend. I don't know that he would consider me his girlfriend. We dated. We did things. I played sports in college. He played basketball. His brother played basketball. we just, you know, it just didn't work out. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It was like I went out with other guys, saw other guys. I went on lots of vacations, you know.
And once you guys split, were you guys still friends or kind of?
He's like, I fucked a lot, dude. I was just like, you know, just a sea of dicks and myself.
You know,
I was hooking up left and right, dude. I was finding all the, just please, anything to just make you believe that I did not murder this person, okay? Please.
is it friendly, not friendly?
No, I don't think it was not friendly. I mean, we were friendly. I know that we went to Hawaii at one point. Yeah, I mean, you know.
And you were saying that
it's 2009 now.
Had you ever met his wife?
I may have.
Do you remember her name or anything, or?
Her facial expressions are so exaggerated that it reminds me of a fucking TikTok video, like a Bella Porch video. The bounce to the beat, bounce to the beat, bounce, 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 bounce to the beat. Like, look at this. Look.
Friendly. I mean, we were.
Bow, 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 bow. Like that's what it feels like.
We went to Hawaii at one point. Yeah, I mean, you know.
And you were saying that
it's 2009 now.
Had you ever met his wife?
I may have.
Do you remember her name or anything, or? Or what she did for a living, or she.
So as a cop, her not calling for a lawyer at this point is like pretty fucking. I mean, I guess like she feels secure because she is a cop, so she's like around other cops, so she just never thought she would get caught. But also, it's pretty good on behalf of the other cops who like made her feel so safe that she's just like, yeah, what's going on? Am I a suspect here? That's not the worst of that TikTok, you boomer. I don't fucking know, man. It's not like the words matter, dude. We all watched it because we thought Bella Porch was hot. There's something captivating about that video. I don't know what it was.
She worked or anything about her?
The suspect was just asked 3 consecutive questions relating to the victim. She was supposedly in a reflective state during all 3 of the questions, yet her facial expression completely changed for the 3rd one. This is because she was pretending to be in a state of reflection for the first 2 questions, as she already knew the answers, whereas for the 3rd question, she actually was in a state of reflection and was genuinely searching her memory for the correct response.
Had you ever met his wife?
I may have.
Do you remember her name or anything, or?
Bro, this person is so like this. I could beat this person in poker, dude. Like she's like physically incapable of lying, and when I mean physically, I mean like literally her body is just like screaming, "I am lying right now. I am lying to you."
The 3rd question is about to be posed, and her focus is about to switch from pretending to be thinking to actually thinking.
Or what she did for a living, or where she worked, or anything about her?
Well, I think I'm going to say that I think she was a nurse. Man, I can't even remember how he said he met her. Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's been so long ago.
Well, let me ask you, did you go to their wedding, you know?
No, I didn't go to their wedding. No, I did not go to their wedding. I couldn't even tell you what year he got married.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, it's been a million years ago. You know, again, I mean, what, you know, I don't understand why you're talking about some guy I dated a million years ago.
Well, do you know what happened to his wife?
Yeah, I know she got killed.
You wouldn't need to be an expert in body language to recognize the unmitigated terror emanating from the suspect's face at this moment. She had just verbalized the victim's tragic demise for the first time in most likely over 2 decades.
What did you hear about that?
I saw a poster at work. I'm sure I spoke to him about it. I think I
spoke to him before the murder. Dun dun dun. No, but like, dude, imagine you fucking got away with murder for like so many years, and then they just come back and they're like, "What's up? This is a cold case, and guess what? You're the one who did it."
spoke to another friend of his about it.
And how did you first learn about that?
Jeez. Someone could have called me. I could have heard it at work. I think at one point there may have been a flyer or something. I know a good friend of his...
Were you on the job back then when that happened?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm sure I was on the job. That's why I would have heard about it with the flyer. He had a good friend, Mike Boldrick,
I don't think she's still...
you know...
But being that you're kind of used to see John, you know, was it everything okay between you guys? I mean, there was never anything uncomfortable or anything between you and her?
8 separate witnesses testified that Stephanie had confronted Sherry at the hospital she worked at, while the two of them were reportedly in an intimate relationship with John. The confrontation was said to have been highly aggressive, and Stephanie had to be escorted off the premises by security. Reports stated that Stephanie was by far the more combative, and even made threats against Sherry's life.
You know, I don't know. I mean, it's been so many years. I mean, uncomfortable. I mean... I can't even remember if we had a conversation. I mean, we may have. I may have seen her at his apartment. You know, geez, how many years ago was that? I don't even know what year she, you know, got killed.
Where was his apartment?
Notice her passive disposition as she gives the...
Bro, she literally knows everything about the dude, including like her brother, her sister, whatever the fuck, from like 30, 40 years ago, but she can't remember like this person that the love of her life fucking married.
The following truthful response.
On Roscoe.
Okay.
Yeah, Roscoe and east or west of DeSoto, either east or west of DeSoto.
Do you know where he moved after? Did he move after he got married, or do you know? Or
now notice how her disposition switches from passive to frantic as she once again pretends to have a vague memory.
I'm sure he did.
Did you know where he was living, or?
Somewhere in the valley.
Did you ever visit him and his wife?
No.
No? Never went out to, you know...
Bro, it's like... This is like training wheels, dude. She's... Don't say hindsight. Like, this is the most suspicious person in the history of suspicion. She's not even throwing, dude. It's just like her face literally is just like, yes. Yeah, no. No. I could have never. Oh.
Get together, dinners, anything of that nature?
No. Like I said, his sister used to come over. His sister had come to my place. I knew his brother because his brother played basketball at Northridge. In fact, I was just coming across some pictures that I just scanned from. I take a lot of photos.
Yeah, she's doing LA North faces, dude.
Like 10,000, and I just did a service where I scanned everything.
And after his wife died, did you talk to him again or anything? Yeah,
I mean, I did talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him, probably his parents, probably some other friends. You know, I'm sure I talked to him.
Yeah.
But you
seem pretty old, but don't look like it. I'm about to be 30, but I don't know what to say about that.
You're not sure where he moved to after he got married?
Thank you, I guess.
No idea. I mean,
never went over to visit him or
I don't think.
meet
I mean,
his
I
wife
don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I did. I mean, I know he lived on Roscoe for a long, long time.
After John's wife died, you said you may have been talking to him. Did your relationship start up again?
I would say no.
Bro, she leaked everything in 15 minutes, by the way. Like, some of these other murderers, like, they're like a wall that you need to breach. You know what I mean? Like, they don't give you nothing for, like, days on end. And, like, you have to wear them down and shit. She's basically, like, 15 minutes. She's like, yeah, I didn't know him. Proceeds to tell everything about the dude. And, like, immediately explain, like, her incredibly close relationship with not just this dude, whose wife was murdered 25 years ago, but also the entire family.
Again, can you give me a year? I mean, this is like 2009.
She died in 1986?
Yeah, I think it was 86.
1986.
Okay. Like I said, I'm faintly remembering that I went to Hawaii with my friend Greg. Greg and I got certified for scuba diving. And I'm thinking that John met us there, meaning Greg and I.
After he...
Dude, people that get on tangents like this, I feel like it's such a leak, too. It's such a... Because it's kind of like, you don't want to describe the events, the gruesome events, so you're like having a hard time faintly remembering a lot of shit, and then boom, all of a sudden you like literally remember every minute detail about your scuba diving experience. Like, it's pretty obvious that like you're just trying to move the conversation away from that, but it's also kind of a silly thing to do because like, what, you think the cop is going to be like, oh wow, that's sick, like you went scuba diving in Hawaii, like tell me more about that. I love scuba diving. Like in a moment of desperation, like the mind is so wonderful. Like what are you thinking in that moment? Like, do you literally think that the cop is going to be like, oh, that's fucking sick. Like, tell me more.
After he got married or whatever, were you dating anybody? In particular?
And that was what year? 1986, you said?
I think he got married in around 85, 86, something like that. Were you seeing anyone seriously, or?
God, I couldn't say. Geez, I'm trying to think. I mean, you know, I dated a fireman. Randy may have dated a gal that Mike was dating, and then Randy broke up with that gal. I couldn't even tell you the gal's name, if I'm even thinking of the story right. And then I started dating Randy.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, not like I was a huge floozy or anything, but
no.
As far as
just a murderer.
Did you start a relationship again with John, or dating casually, or anything like that?
Like I said, he met Greg and I in Hawaii. What island did we go to? I think the Big Island in Kauai.
I mean, when you heard about John's wife being killed, I mean, what was your reaction? I mean, you thought you heard about
relief?
What, through a friend or in a bulletin or
Either
something?
a friend or a bulletin. I called the family. I called maybe some of his friends that I knew, and I mean, obviously it shocked you if I heard it at work, which I may have. I faintly remember a bulletin going around,
Do you know what the circumstances were regarding her death?
Geez, let me think back. I don't know if it was, a burglary or something. It's been so many years. I can faintly think that I may have saw a flyer.
Yeah.
May have had her picture on it. That's why I say, if somebody had called me, I may not have known what her last name was. I may have. Maybe if you told me, I would remember it.
Bro, how are you a fucking cop and like still unaware that you are literally being interrogated now? Like how? How are you a fucking cop for like so many years and don't realize that like these dudes are just straight up onto you, dude?
Do you remember her first name?
Shelly, Sherry, I don't know, something maybe, like I said, it's been so many years, and
from all the years, as far as you can remember, do you remember ever talking to her?
Well, I said earlier, I may have, and now I'm thinking I may have gone to her and say, hey, you know what, is he dating you? He's bothering me. And so I'm thinking that we had a conversation about that. One or two, maybe. you know, it could have been 3. I don't want to say I had 3 conversations with her.
Like at her work or at their house or.
No, I'm thinking that you know.
Bro, she literally. It's like unwinding, dude. What a throw! It's like slowly but surely, in a matter of 27 minutes, she literally went from, I don't know the guy, just kidding, I know his entire family, never seen him, just kidding, dated him for 4 years, just kidding, actually also continuously saw him recently, or not recently, but like around the time of the murder, never met the wife, just kidding, know everything about the wife, and have multiple conversations with her. Like, what the fuck, dude? Just from that alone, it feels like it almost feels like she wants to admit it.
He obviously must have told me where she worked. I'm thinking it was a hospital somewhere in LA, and I mean, I could have been, again, what year was that? Where was I working? 92 or 93. There was the big earthquake. No, when was the big earthquake? April of 92.
Tangent about natural disasters. Oh, what is that face? What is she doing? Bro, she's doing the strangest things with her face. What is that?
I think I stopped teaching Dare sometime in 92.
When you said, like, hey, you know, he's calling me, he needs to knock it off or what have you, I mean, was that civil? Was there, I mean,
no, there was not. I don't think there was anything. If the conversation lasted a few minutes, I can't even remember. And what is it like, you know, we went out to lunch or anything.
Right, but there was no, like, arguments or fights
I
or
don't think
it didn't
so.
get heated or anything like
Not that I recall, no. I mean, I would think that would stand out, I would think. Now, again,
if I saw that face, I'd be like, arrest her right now. I'd just be like, all right, it's time. Put the handcuffs, boys. That's it. She did the biting, dude. She literally did the same biting technique that she used on her, like, sex partner's wife. She literally fucking bit the air. Like, I can't even do it. I don't know how the fuck she did that. Yes, the face should be illegal.
that's not standing out in my mind. You know.
So you didn't have any problems with her then?
No.
You didn't have any issues with her?
No, I mean...
But let me ask you. It seems like you didn't have any issue. Now, did she have an issue with you as far as...
Oh.
Because now you're telling her, hey, you know, tell them to stop calling. Now, you know, she's like, hey, you know, you figure she'd be threatened by you.
You know, I don't know. I mean...
From what you remember as far as when you talked to her, maybe you didn't take it as serious, but maybe, you know, did she? Maybe she was bugged.
You mean, like, was she throwing things at me or something? Or,
well, no, just,
you know...
As far as you're trying to explain, like, hey, have them stop calling me, you know, stop playing games.
You know, I tell you, if the conversation... I couldn't even tell you how long the conversation... If you said, did it last a half an hour? Did it last 3 minutes? Did it last 20 minutes? I can't even remember. It's been so long ago.
So you would have gone, if it was en route to work, you more than likely would have gone to her work and had this discussion with her?
I mean, that's sounding familiar. I mean, that's, now that you guys are bringing this stuff up,
You're
I mean,
such a sussy little baka, dude.
But again, I mean, you know, what's this got to do with me dating?
What I actually want to know is, like, who the fuck did they literally convict for 20 years, like, and sentence to jail forever, in her stead? Like, was this who? No one? I think it was a cold case. Because, like, didn't they think that there was a sequence of break-ins with, like, 2 random Latino dudes or something?
Him and, you know, her getting killed. I mean, I don't...
Chad acting like they don't do this all the time, by the way. What the fuck? Like, I know we're watching, like, a bit of a propaganda, but I just want to let you know that, like, you know, if they had caught those 2 Latino dudes, you bet your fucking ass that they would have been pinned on this crime.
I don't have anything to do with it, and you got something that's, somebody said, you know, whatever. I mean,
well, like we said, we just literally got this the other day, and you're going through it.
Yeah.
And you see
and you saw me say,
your
it's
name.
I forgot it was a cold case.
It's next door.
Right, and so, you know, I mean, obviously, it's like we recognize the name, and we know that, you know, you work next door to us, and so we're trying to get some background. We're trying to figure this out. I mean, this is from a long time ago.
Oh, I know. And
you know,
that's
and things have been kind of slow for us. And so, you know, Chief Beck has said, hey, you know, I want you guys working. I don't want you just sitting around reading the paper.
Yeah.
So he's kind of pushing some older cases out even to the guys that work active cases because, you know, and so we see this and we're just like, oh, well, you know, we want to talk to you about it. But, of course, the only reason we did it here is because we're getting into some pretty personal stuff in your relationship.
You know, my husband's on the job, and we've been married.
For the record, there's a 58, like in 2019, the homicide clearance rate was 58%. So, like, about 40% of murders go unsolved. Why'd you say wrong? I mean, the data I'm looking at shows that as far as homicide goes, in 20, I mean, I just gave you the number. Like, 58% was cleared. Acknowledge how she acts like Trump. Yeah, her face does, like, resemble Donald Trump's mannerisms a lot. That's a resolution rate, which includes convictions which are eventually overturned or are still in appeal, or so probably lower. I mean, okay, but how much lower? There are obviously false. I mean, there are obviously false convictions too. On top of that, but it's still not going to be like. You're actually wrong. It's 11% more than what you said. The number I'm giving you is like off of Google, dude. It's freshly Googled, motherfucker. Okay? I gave you a specific year too, so you're like, you can't say I'm fucking wrong. Like, projectcoldcase.org, cold case homicide stats. Like what the fuck do you want from me? I gave you homicide clearance rates in the United States in 2019, and the dude was like, "You're fucking wrong, dude."
You know, we don't want to take the risk. We don't want to take the risk when one of those interview rooms, and even when the door closed, someone's going to get supplies and sees us on a monitor or hears or whatever.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate, like I said.
That's where people go when there's orals. You know, when they're doing orals, guys will go in there and try and watch. And like, what are the answers to the questions? You know?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we just want to afford you the most privacy and confidentiality we could.
No, I appreciate it. And like I said, I mean, this goes way back, and I mean, it was very sad. You know, obviously.
I was like, come on, why didn't you fucking wear your badge when you did the murder, dog? Like, you know how easy it is? You know how easy it would have been for us to just be like, yeah, this was on purpose, and you're fine. Why didn't you just wear a fucking why don't you wear the badge? Come on,
I haven't, you know, when we were in college, some of us would go down to his house in San Diego. I went down to his house with him.
Mansplaining is an interrogation technique?
93.
Let me get back to as far as when you said that John was calling you to see you, and during that time you felt that he was either seeing her, was he engaged or married? Did you know?
Couldn't say.
You don't remember?
You know, I don't know. Well, let's see. My husband.
But during that time that you were seeing John, you know, was he acting kind of squirrely or kind of sneaking around when he'd hook up with you or anything like that, to make you think, hey, yeah, this guy.
He probably was. I mean.
Well, after he hooked up with Sherry, do you know where they were living?
No, you asked me that already. And I said, well, obviously they were living in Van Nuys division.
Yeah.
I may have known. I mean, you know.
Thanks for reading my comment. I showed my mom. Aw. That's cute as fuck, dude.
Well, again, you know, did he ever give me the address? Maybe. You know, I don't remember. I mean, I don't know.
Because the only reason I'm asking you again is because as we've been talking, I know some stuff has come to you because you're like, oh, it seems like you're shaking.
You know.
So.
I don't think I've ever gone there. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to say, no, I've never gone there, and then you say, oh, I was at a party. because I don't, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've got these friends, we have parties.
Because I know you went to talk to her at the hospital regarding this issue with John, to, kind of like, hey, what's going to happen here with this thing? But would this ever have followed up to her house when you went to talk to her to say, hey, you know what?
I don't even know that I knew where they lived. That's what I'm saying. If I knew where they lived and I'd been there, if it was for something social, I would, and I can't see how many times I saw her face to face. He lived on Roscoe. Did I ever see her there? I don't know. I mean, I may have seen her at his apartment on Roscoe.
Mm-hmm.
I may have met her there. I mean...
But you didn't have any issues with her, right?
Bro, when you got, like, total recollection of, like, a scuba diving trip that you had from hella long ago, but you can't remember where or how you met a person that was fucking inevitably murdered, who was married to the dude that you dated and know the entire family of and never fucking lost contact with, like, come on, dude. That's crazy.
No, I mean, obviously, if he was dating me and dating her, I probably said, hey, pick or something.
I can't remember anything from 10 years ago. No, that makes sense. I can't remember what I fucking ate yesterday. Okay, well, that's a lie, because I eat the same thing every day. But if I understand that. But, like, she literally has, like, perfect recollection of so many events in that same timeline. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, you can't have it both ways, you know?
Back
That's
then,
I mean, would you remember if she snapped on you and just like, hey, man, it's my man, you leave him alone, blah, 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 that kind of stuff? And would you remember an incident like that? I mean, because that would be like, what?
Well, and maybe that happened. I mean, gosh, it's been so long ago. I mean, that's not ringing a bell.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because the times I've seen you around at our office,
I'm crazy.
But you're always kind of like real. I mean, you seem kind of bubbly.
Oh, people think I'm really hyper. But I can get upset, and then I forget 5 seconds later. How guys razz you and you go,
Handcuffs. This is the 4th time that I would have slapped the handcuffs on her. Oh my God, this is turning me into more of a cop, dude. Every video I watch, I become more of a cop.
I mean, I've done that in the office, but it's like, and then I'm, people
water
think,
under the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, it's like people think I'm crazy, and then they think I'm crazy at home, and I'm a hyper person at work. I enjoy my job. I get excited. I enjoy the job. I've always enjoyed the job.
Okay.
And then the guys that lived across from me, Jim Jaskell and Roy Sakaboo, something like that.
Well, one of the concerns I had is looking at some of the notes is some of Sherry's friends said that you and her were having a problem because
bro, she's doing the I'm not neurotypical, dude. She's like, I'm hyper. I got attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Like, I couldn't have done the murder. I got ADHD. She was ahead of the game, bro. She was literally ahead of the game, dude.
Of the John situation.
Well, number one, I don't know who her friends are. Because again, I don't recall if he did tell me where he met her. I don't know even who these friends are. A problem, like I said, if I spoke to her, I mean, I'll go on as far as a limb, and I don't even want to say I spoke to her 5 times, because that's probably not even true. I can't even remember. Again, did I meet him at her place when he lived on Roscoe for, I think, quite a while, but I couldn't tell you how long he lived on Roscoe. And the only reason I remember the place now is because it's like a huge dope place now, where they, it may have been back then, but maybe we didn't know back then. I could have met her there. I could have, you know, I don't even know that I met any of their friends. I can't say that. I don't know that that's a true statement.
Well, that's what I'm reading, is that you guys had problems with each other and words were being exchanged, and it's all relating to John.
You know what? I can't say.
You can't say?
No, that doesn't even ring a bell.
So, I mean, it seemed like, yeah, you would recall something if somebody's going off on you, right?
I would think. I would think.
From what you're telling me is when you guys met at the hospital, I mean, you guys talked, but it wasn't, from what you recall, confrontational?
I don't think so.
From either side?
I mean, I'm trying to, you know, turn my memory back, you know, and I can't even picture the, you know, the conversation. I mean, I can't even picture the conversation.
Well, let me ask you, I mean, at the hospital, it never got to the point where people are going, hey, you know, everybody go to your own corner type of thing?
I don't think so.
Nothing like that?
I don't think so. I mean, I really don't. I mean, if you say people said that, that's not ringing a bell to me at all. I mean, it's not. I mean, that's not ringing a bell to me at all.
Was there ever a time when you and Sherry were talking and John had to maybe go like, hey, you guys relax, you know, or anything like that?
I think so.
About, you know, ever going to her house and having a dispute like that?
You know, if I met her ever at his apartment, maybe. I mean, maybe I could have met at her apartment.
Bro, 52 minutes, dude. 52 minutes in. And she is like, I don't even know where we got to. Like, it's just like, she went from I don't know who the fuck this person is to like, yeah, I know her very well and I fucking hate her. Yeah, I fucking murdered her. What of it? Like,
I'm thinking that the hospital thing, that sounds familiar, that I met her there. I just can't say that I've ever, again, was I there with other people? I don't know. I don't think I ever met her there or him there, meaning one or the other. I don't think so.
Well, I guess basically what I'm asking is, you know, were you ever welcome to the house? Like, you know, hey.
Oh, come over?
Yeah, come on over. We're having a barbecue.
At this point, he's not even saying anything. Like, at this point, the detectives are just literally letting her do the thing. Like, they're not even they're not saying a single goddamn thing. They're just like, come on, keep it coming.
You know,
just, she's dug the hole in so aggressively, dude.
Party, whatever.
You know, I don't know.
You know,
I'm just trying to think. You know, like I said, because there were so many of us that I have 10,000 pictures, okay? I'm a picture nut.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask, when you were seeing John, would you, I take it he would pick you up in his car, you go in her, you know, your car, things of that nature, when you guys would go out?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Do you remember what he drove?
Well, I know at one time he drove either a 240 or 260Z.
Any other cars that stand out in your mind?
I don't know how long he drove that 240 or 260Z for. And the only reason I say that is because I think I may have a picture of it with him in it.
What kind of car did you have back then?
Let's see. What year?
Or are you like one of those young cops that like, oh, I got a paycheck and bought a new car?
Oh, no. I've only had like a few cars in my whole life.
So what'd you have when you came on the job?
Okay, well, my first car was a 68 Chevelle.
Well, like I said, as we were looking at the case, and, you know, we had read the notes as far as from Sherry's friend saying you guys had problems or words, and they got heated. You know, and the reason we're asking you is they had mentioned that an incident at her work had occurred, and they've also told us that an incident at her house occurred.
You know what?
And this is at her house during the period of time that they're married.
That's just not sounding familiar at all. I mean, you know what? That's just not sound. Again, if someone says that I was at her house and I had an incident with her, that just doesn't sound. Was John there? Did John say this happened? Because, and other people were there. I don't recall. I mean, it just doesn't sound, familiar.
And this is an incident where you showed up. You weren't supposed to show up, and things got heated.
At his house?
Yeah.
That just doesn't sound familiar. I mean, no. It's not sounding familiar.
So
not at all.
Now you're saying not familiar because it's just something you remember, or it's just.
You know what? I'd have to say I don't remember, because I don't remember. That doesn't sound familiar.
I mean, would you remember something like that in your life?
Well, I would think, but
sort of drama involving, the other woman type of thing.
Sure. Did you ever fight with her?
You mean like we fought?
Yeah. Did you ever duke it out with her?
No, I don't think so. I mean.
You'd remember that.
I don't think so. What the fuck, dude? You don't remember a fucking fight that you may or may not have had? Like, oh, it's over, dude. It is so over, dude. That is the GG no re, baby. Let's go.
That, right? That would be pretty.
Yeah, I would think so.
Pretty specific.
Yeah, like I said, I mean,
dramatic.
obviously, it just doesn't sound familiar. I mean, what are they saying? So I fought with her. So now I'm getting the jump, the leap.
Do you remember every fight from 20 years ago? A fight with a person who then ended up dying 20 years ago. A fight with a person who, even if we don't assume that she fucking murdered this person, if we're talking about a fight that she had with a dude that she was in contact with, then yes, I would expect her to remember the fight, especially because she literally remembers so many other details, and also has been routinely lying and slowly unwinding about all of the other details that she actually does later on admit to.
Excuse me, I haven't eaten. They're saying, okay, I fought with her, so I must have killed her.
This is known in psychology as reductio ad absurdum, or appeal to extremes. It's a form of argument that attempts to disprove a statement by showing that it leads to an absurd or impractical conclusion.
I mean, come on. I mean, that's...
I mean, or what we call a self-report. That's what we call it. A fucking self-report. I mean, she literally just said it. She said, lock her up. This is the 5th time I'm saying that she should be handcuffed. Slap the cuffs on her.
I don't even know who these people are. I can't even say I met any of these people. I mean, it's insane.
Would it be something you would remember? I mean, because I don't know if any other intense incidents in your life that have occurred, I mean, you'd recall those, right? I mean,
well,
like a use of force at work or car crash, something you're involved in, you'd be like, yeah, I remember.
You would think I would remember. I mean, I would think if it was something that crazy. I mean, I can't say. You say, how many fights have you gotten into, in your life? I mean, a few at work.
Well, fights at work are kind of different because we've all had uses of force or whatever. But
well, I haven't even had a lot of those. I mean,
right, but if you're actually,
I mean, I played.
Like if Dan and I got mad at each other and we threw blows in the squad room, I mean, 20 years later, I would remember it. I mean,
I would think I would remember it, but
unique.
that's what I'm saying. That's not sounding familiar to me at all.
I'm looking at the notes, and these people are kind of, I mean, they're pointing the finger at you.
Well,
and
I mean, that's not ringing a bell to me. So, I don't know. It's.
I mean, she is a cop. Technically, she could be whooping ass all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, she could constantly be getting into fucking fights and shit,
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that just sounds crazy to me.
Yeah. So you, offhand, you don't recall ever going into her house and having words and physically,
No.
attacking her attacking you?
No.
Nothing like that?
No. I mean, that's... No.
Nothing?
No. No. Not at all.
Okay. Well, on some of the, on this case, this is it occurred in '86, right? Detectives processed the scene, things of that nature. They did fingerprints and all that stuff. You know, well, you know the standard stuff. I mean, you've been doing this longer than I have.
Well, I don't know about that. I got 26 years on, going on 26.
19, so. But, you know, as they processed everything, they did the best they could at that time, and they looked at a lot of people and different things in this case. And you're right.
I mean, if you guys are claiming that I'm a suspect, then, you know, I got a problem with, you know, with that.
Okay.
Okay? So, you know, if you're doing this as an interrogation, you're saying, hey, I'm a suspect. Well, now I got a problem with, you know, now you're accusing me of this?
Oh, you do have a problem, yes. 1 hour and 5 minutes, boys. It took her an hour and 5 minutes of literally spilling the motherfucking tea, dude. God damn, dude. It is like... Did they ever find a single stolen piece of art in the state of California during her fucking tenure as an art detective? Because, god damn, there is no shot. Like, there is 0% chance that this person found a single fucking piece of stolen art. Recovered it. Doesn't seem very bright. Checks out that she's a cop. There's no such thing as an art detective? No, what do you mean there's no such thing as an art detective? She was a detective who worked on stolen art. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Thanks, Mom. Great, thank you. Thank you, Mom. Got my mom to make the chicken this time. Well, I mean, it's the chicken that I prepared and stuff, but I've been getting her to at least cook it up. So appreciate Mom. But also at the same time, you know, appreciate that I'm I don't want to even walk away from this.
Is that what you're saying?
We're trying to figure out what happened, Stephanie.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, do I need to get a lawyer if you're accusing me of this? You know,
you don't have to. I mean, you know,
you're
here of your own free will. I mean,
no, I know, but
I mean, you know, you're not under arrest. You can walk out.
You can leave whenever you like.
Well, but, you know, I'm trying to give you some background of, you know, how I knew him, and now you're telling me that somebody's saying that we had this.
Bro, she's mad that she got, dude.
This big old fight, and I don't even know what you're talking about, you know, and I don't want to, you know, get in trouble for something that I didn't even do, or you're saying I did something.
Okay.
Yeah, we understand.
I mean, how would you guys like it if the tables were turned on you?
I understand. No.
No, that's what we're telling you. I mean, you're free to go whenever you want. If this makes you uncomfortable and you want to,
well, now you're starting to make me uncomfortable.
The thing is, I mean, detectives did what they could at that time on the crime scene. Okay, and the burglary thing you're talking about, that is an angle that they looked at. But now we're looking at everything else on the case, because nobody was ever arrested on the case.
I don't know that or not.
Okay.
I don't know that or not.
Now, what we'd like to do is, obviously, you know about all the DNA stuff and things of the nature that, you know, gets done on cases nowadays. You know, if we asked you for a DNA swab, would you be willing to give us one?
Maybe.
Oh, what the fuck do you mean? It's over.
Because now
Because
now I'm thinking I probably need to talk to a lawyer.
Okay.
I mean, because I know how this stuff works. Okay, don't get me wrong. You're right. I have been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
And I wish I had been recording this because now it sounds like, you know, there's, you know, you're selling these people saying I'm fighting with her, and now it sounds like you're trying to, you know, I've been doing this.
Okay. Now I understand why they actually filmed this, and it doesn't matter because it's negligible. You can't use this in court. I don't think you can use any of this in court. But it doesn't even matter because they have enough, even without the testimony. Oh, they did? Wait, what the fuck? You can use that in court? I thought they said in the beginning that you can't use it in court. Because it's in the interrogation room and there's like a surveillance camera in there, or there's an assumption that there should be a surveillance camera in there. That's fucked up. That's actually fucked up. Damn, her fucking lawyers were dog shit, dude. Anyway, the point I was gonna make is it doesn't even matter because DNA is what inevitably got her, I think. And also, the reason why this is a cold case that they like resurfaced because there was like new technology available to just like go through with the DNA. And also, when they have her DNA, there's enough evidence to request her DNA because there's enough evidence to request her DNA because like she's what do you call it? She like already had other testimony from like other witnesses and shit about her relationship. Like there's a motive there.
It's a long time.
Yeah, we know.
Okay. And now it almost sounds like you're trying to pin something on me.
No,
now I got that sense.
I'm not running an ad. I already ran an ad.
These cases, and you know it as well as I do. Our job is to identify and eliminate suspects.
I can't believe this.
So if we ask you to the point to give us a DNA sample, a buccal swab, so we can identify or eliminate you, would you be willing to do that?
Maybe. Because I know this.
Well, that's where we're at too. I mean, because right now, from looking at the evidence, it's, you know, it's possible we may have some DNA at the location.
That's great.
And we're going to do what we can to try to put this thing together. And your name's in the book. These people are pointing at you for whatever reason.
I don't know why. That's just crazy. I mean, that's absolutely crazy.
And it would be irresponsible on our part not to look at it.
I know. You guys have to do your job, and I guess I'm going to have to contact somebody. So.
That's fair.
I mean, because I know how this stuff works. I mean, I just can't believe it.
I mean, we understand that. I mean,
I know how this stuff works. I just can't believe I got fucking duped despite knowing how this stuff works.
If we were in your position, I mean, we would feel the same way.
I just can't even believe it. I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm shocked. I'm really shocked that somebody would be saying that I did this. I mean, we had a fight, and so I went and killed her. I mean, come on.
Well,
that's...
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks for giving me the courtesy. I wish I recorded that.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Stephanie.
Damn, she even thanked him for it. Little does she know, dude.
Take care.
All right.
This is absolutely crazy.
Have a seat, Stephanie.
This is
What?
insane.
Okay.
Why's she back?
Give me 1 second.
Oh my God, they arrested her out of the door.
Okay. Stephanie, you know you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Oh, this is okay. Oh. Oh my God, this video was the best, dude. I literally thought that they would like, I don't know, gather some more evidence or something before they like called her back in. Yo, that's fucking crazy. They said you're free to go. Psych. What the fuck? Yeah, you can leave whenever you want. Just kidding. You're arrested. Have fun.
Anything you say may be used against you in court. Do you understand?
Yes.
You have the right to the presence of an attorney before and during any questioning. Do you understand?
Yes.
If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you free of charge before any questioning if you want. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you want to talk to us right now?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
This
then.
is crazy.
Okay.
This is I'm like in shock. I'm totally in shock.
We are back on the record in People versus Lazarus. Shortly before noon, the jury announced they have a verdict. We will take the verdict at this time.
People of the State of California versus Stephanie Eileen Lazarus. Case number BA 357423. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Stephanie Eileen Lazarus, guilty of the crime of murder of Sherry Rasmussen in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony, as charged in count one of the information.
I mean, automatic guilty when your name is Lazarus, by the way. I'm just saying, like, her family kind of fucked her with that one. Like, if your name is motherfuckers get the last name Lazarus and then don't do murder, that's weirder than the other way around. You know what I mean? That's just like you have a villain name. Yes, my name is Hassan Mephisto. Like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking do a murder. Like, I am fucking sorry. That's just, I have a murderer name.
We further find the murder was of the first degree.
Your Honor, I'm John Rutten. Thank you for the opportunity to speak during this hearing. There are really no words that can describe the loss of Sherry and the whole of
You guys are so stupid. Every time I fucking say anything, you're like, oh, FBI. Hassan? Monka W? You said you would do a murder?
This experience, so it makes no sense to talk very long. It suffices to say that the Rasmussen family, my family, and Stephanie's family have been thrust into a bizarre world of disbelief and indescribable sadness. Sherry Rasmussen had a profound impact on so many people. And I was proud that she agreed to be my wife. It was impossible not to notice Sherry when she entered a room.
Wait, is this guy kind of guilty too? Or like, wait, didn't he fucking have sex with her after this?
To me, her physical presence was startling. I can clearly remember the first moment I laid eyes on her. Sherry Rasmussen was a physical presence, and my heart still races when I look at pictures of her. But Sherry was extraordinary, more for who she was than the way she looked.
Oh my God, that's so much worse. Wait, he cheated on his wife with her. She fucking murdered his wife. He didn't know this entire time, and then literally went back to dating her. Her wife's murderer. That's crazy, dude. Is that what happened? Like, after this fucking psycho murdered her, his wife, she fucking dated him. I wonder if he actually didn't know. It seems kind of...
She was a hard worker, a consummate professional, a leader, a diplomat, forgiving, tough, and a kid at heart. Sherry's loss, the way she died, and the trial 25 years after her death has had a profound impact on many, many others. The effects are broad and span a generation, creating pain for those whose lives should have never been touched by this tragic event. Again, words are feeble tools for describing these impacts, but there are so many moments and so very many tears. And the fact that Sherry's death occurred because she met and married me brings me to my knees.
Stephanie Lazarus was sentenced to 27 years to life for the murder of Sherry Rasmussen. She is currently being held inside the maximum security unit of the Central California Women's Facility.
Any other cars that stand out in your mind?
Ah!